What is up, knife nuts? Drew with Pocket Steel here. Gonna do a hopefully quick little review for you on the Spyderco Persistence. Now this has been my EDC work blade for a couple weeks now, and when I'm at work my knife sees a lot of regular and pretty strenuous use, and this knife has held up very well. I'm extremely impressed with it. Gonna have a tough time making the switch, I do believe, over to the Manix 2, which I just got in tonight, and I want to try it out as an EDC for work, but it's gonna be tough coming from this, even though this is, you know, on paper a much nicer knife. I've really fallen in love with this, but you know, that's a topic for another day. But anyway, that's we'll see. This is what I've really grown to love and get used to. Before this knife, I was EDCing Ontario Rat 2 at work, which is another extremely awesome knife. I love this knife to death. This was a hard transition, but I'm a huge Spyderco fan, and you know, this has served me well. But go back, check the review on this knife. Just a great little EDC blade, and again, really tough to make the switch from the Rat 2 to the Persistence, but you know, here we are a couple weeks later and a lot of use, and I'm very happy with it. So 3.6 ounces, great weight for EDC, especially for what I do. It serves its purpose very well, being that light of a knife. Of course there are lighter ones out there, but 3.6 ounces, definitely not an elephant heifer by any means. So that's great. Perfect weight. Anywhere in the, you know, 3 to 4 ounce range for me, I consider that a pretty decent EDC weight. So anything below that, awesome. So 3.6, good with me. We've got a 2 3/4 inch blade, which is the perfect size for me, what I do at work specifically. Again, this is what I carry at work. Outside of work, I've just stuck on the PM2. I love this knife, awesome. First review I did on YouTube, go check that out if you haven't already, but incredible knife. This is always what I grab outside of work, but when I'm at work, this is the go-to. It has been for a couple weeks now, and you know, just is perfect. So 2 3/4 inch blade, that's exactly what I need. It is 4.1 closed, so perfect little size to just disappear in your pocket. 6.8 length overall, so again, not at all, you know, that's something where if you pull this knife out, which I've had to in front of customers to do some work, they're not gonna freak out like, oh, this guy's, you know, gonna terrorize us all and stab everybody. I mean, you know, this is not an intimidating knife at all, especially at this size. So you know, that's a great overall length for it. As far as the blade, this is, and it's not a huge issue for me. I wish it wasn't the case, but you can see the centering on that knife is way off. Is way off to the right. So it is what it is. I mean, tried messing with it a little bit, you know, and it's either gonna be off center or extremely tight and hard to deploy. So you know, ultimately for me what matters is the lockup and deployment. So you know, when it's locked, it's great, you know, there's no play there. The issue is when I depress the liner here, there's definitely some play, not a whole lot, but again, when you're dealing with, you know, Chinese manufacturers, even though it's Spyderco, you're not gonna have the same quality control you are when you're getting, you know, stuff made in Colorado here in America. So it is what it is. That's it's, again, never had any issue with it, even though it's a little off center. It's got some play when you depress the liner, but again, once it's actually locked, it's fine. I mean, that's solid as a rock. I'm not worried about that at all. So some people get really particular about it, and I do with certain other things, but you know, this one specifically for what I paid for it, and you know what it's actually meant for is just kind of a beater everyday work knife. Great, it's awesome. I can't complain about it. So it does have a little weight saving capability here. It's got, let's see if you can see it. Yeah, it's got milled liners in there, so that definitely helps with the weight. G10 scales, the traction on these is definitely adequate. There are much higher traction G10s, but for what this one is, it's definitely adequate. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's going to come flying out of my hands for any reason. You pair that with the jimping on here. Spyderco always does a great job with their jimping. I mean, it's very aggressive. Nothing in the choil down here. You know, so it's again gonna lock up pretty well with that adequate G10 and very great aggressive jimping. This knife's not going anywhere. I mean, I've really had to bear down on it, and I just haven't had any issues with it whatsoever, feeling like it's going to slip out of my hand or anything like that. When I'm not using it and it's in the pocket clip here, traditional Spyderco pocket clip, no issues with that. You can probably see it's pretty scratched up. Well, not pretty scratched up, but you know, this is taking abuse sliding around on roofs and stuff like that, and crawl spaces and stuff like that, and the pocket clip's obviously sticking out and exposed, and you know, it's holding up pretty well for taking the beating that it does. It's also got really good retention on it. You know, I don't ever feel like this thing's gonna come out of my pocket, and if this was a weak pocket clip and it was gonna come out, it would, believe me. The stuff that I do, it's if I'm gonna lose a knife, it's gonna be in the line of work doing wildlife that I do. It's It's a testament to how good the Spyderco clips are. You know, overall, just an awesome little EDC. Not huge, not too little. Let's do a little size comparison here. So, you know, a lot of people familiar with the Tenacious. So that's, you see the difference there. Clearly, oh, maybe you can't see the difference. Clearly a smaller blade. I already pulled out the Rat 2, which would be a great comparison because they're in kind of the same class, you know, the 2 3/4 inch blade. Now, obviously, the handle, it looks like on the Rat 2, well, no, they're pretty comparable. Rat 2 is a little bit longer and wider blade, obviously. Skinnier blade, but overall longer knife in the Rat 2, but still pretty comparable in size. Compared to Paramilitary 2, you know, you start getting a little bit bigger, so you can see, God, I'm just not showing you a good comparison, am I? You know, now you're getting a little bit bigger, but you look at, well, last video I did, Ambitious compared to the Ambitious. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way. Trying to get you a good comparison and kind of keep it in the middle. You know, you can see the difference there with a knife that has a 2 1/4 blade compared to, oh yeah, Kershaw Injection. What a sexy knife. Full flat grind from Kershaw. What? Yeah, we're gonna do a review on that. This knife is awesome. That's just, I think that is so sexy. I love that knife. Extremely good value, but again, we'll do a review on that. You know, so clearly you can see where it falls in the spectrum of knives and, you know, different sizes. It's just a perfect little stick in the pocket. You don't really know that it's there. I'll throw one more in there. K-bar Dozier. So, you know, that's perfect. Love it. Only complaints I could have, and this might just be mine specifically, is, you know, the blade play, a little bit of that. But again, that's only when it's actually, when I disengage the lock, and you know, that's the centering on it. Again, could be another gripe, not a huge issue for me as long as it locks up well. Deployment, let's talk about that for a second, and then we'll go ahead and end this video. Deployment's good, works really well with doing a little middle finger flick. You just fine. It's got the 11 millimeter 1/2 inch deployment hole, so you can get a really good purchase on that to flick it out. Definitely faster knives. I mean, this Rat 2 is considerably faster. I mean, you would think it's assisted, but as far as deployment goes, it's very adequate, quick enough for me. So anyway, that's my take and review on the Spyderco Persistence. If that interests you, by all means, go out, pick it up. They're, I want to say, I think it was $35, somewhere in that range. Definitely worth every bit of that. So if you're interested in one, it looks like the right size, go pick it up. I'll sing praises of that knife all day. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that. Have a great night, day, wherever it is that you are. Again, thank you for watching.